Hey, what's up, guys? How are you all doing on this very beautiful Sunday afternoon? Sorry, I don't know if you're listening to this on a Sunday or on a Monday or whatever day of the week it turns out to be. I hope you're having a really good one. I am so excited. I'm in a very good mood, if you can tell. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about this new, not so brand new, but it's a new movie by the Kendrick brothers, and it is called The Forge. If you've seen Overcomer, War Room, Courageous, Facing the Giant, The Girl Who Believed in Miracle, they didn't do all of these movies, they did a good number of them. If you've seen them or you've seen one or two of them, then you know that The Forge is one to be seen. It's a must watch. But yeah, before I go on raving about this movie and how it's made me feel, let's just jump right into the nitty gritty. Let's do the proper thing. Let's do this review the proper way, okay? And yes, before you say it, I know I am late to the party, but forgive me. So yeah, we're going to talk about my expectations going into the film, the synopsis of the movie, my likes, my dislikes. We're also going to talk about the people that will most probably enjoy watching this movie, as well as my final thoughts about the movie and my verdict in terms of rating the movie itself. So yeah, grab a popcorn, sit tight, and let's enjoy this review together, okay? Yeah. Talking about my expectations for this film, I knew it was going to be a really good watch because, judging by the movies I mentioned already, War Room, Overcomer, Courageous, Facing the Giant, The Girl Who Believed in Miracle. I remember I watched The Girl Who Believed in Miracle. I made a mistake by watching it in the office and I was tearing up so badly. I had to excuse myself, like it was that serious. It was that heartwarming and heart-piercing at the same time. I knew it was going to be a good one. So down to the synopsis of the film. The synopsis goes as thus. A year out of high school with no plans for his future, a boy is challenged by a single mother and successful businessman to start charting a better course for his life. Through the prayers of his mom and biblical discipleship from his new mentor, he begins discovering God's purpose for his life, so much more than he could hope for or imagine. So very quickly, because I know I do have a lot to say, let's get right into the things I liked about this film. Starting with number one, I really, really, really deeply loved the storytelling of this film. I loved the dialogue. I loved how witty it was. We're talking serious business, we're talking scriptures, we're talking about lives here, but at the same time, I loved how humor was neatly interwoven in the dialogue. It was very funny. They were very easy, everyday dialogue. It didn't feel like something that was overly scripted and written. So I really liked that. And I liked the gentle infusion of Bible verses as references in the dialogue in this film. I really enjoyed it. And I always talk about this thing when I'm talking about a movie. I always like when a movie takes me on a journey. Like I start off getting introduced to these characters. I have little to no knowledge about them. I get fazed by some of their actions and their decisions, and then I get invested, and then at the end of the day, when we get to the peak of the movie, the concluding part, I feel very much satisfied with what I've seen. I feel like I know this character. I've been on a journey with this character. I can empathize with the character. I can judge the character. I can hate the character if need be. So I felt that way with this movie. I felt like we were on a really good journey with all of the characters, most especially the lead characters. So I really, really liked that about this film. I'm talking about the characters. I liked the different stories that were embedded into the different characters. Take, for example, Joshua Moore. I liked how he was a really good Christian. He was upright in his ways, but he was putting in so much work in his business. And I liked the business aspect of this film. It just goes to show you that you being a Christian, you serving God, doesn't mean your business will suffer. Doesn't mean you're not going to do the necessary things to keep your business running and moving. I liked how he was really professional. We saw how he works with pros, the guy that was, moving. You saw how much he invested into his warehouse, the robots that were working, the number of staffs he had. I liked how, he was being strategic. We saw that business side of him. We saw him as a proper businessman. It was very believable. It was very easy to sell to us because of the many things they placed around his character. And I liked, the third act of the film where they were faced with this deadline of producing 3,000 product boxes, and Isaiah took up the mantle, took up the challenge, and he said he was going to make sure that they get it done. I liked how they didn't just sit down expecting a miracle. Maybe the people that demanded for these 3,000 boxes, maybe all of a sudden they keep praying, and then they say, oh, okay, don't worry, we don't need it anymore, we're going to stick with you guys and renew the contract. I like how it was so realistic. These things happen. Business is competitive. People play dirty games, but you don't have to go dirty. All you need to do is put in the work, do the best you can, and wait for lines to fall in pleasant places for you. So I really liked how that was out there. That whole thing played out between Joshua Moore and his business partners. I liked how they were a team. They didn't just sit around and forgot to perform magic or whatnot. And I liked how that phase or that part of that movie better emphasized on faith and work. So I really liked that. And talking about characters, Isaiah, right? We saw how we're introduced to him, very angry, very rude person, and then his character was able to tell us that when you give your life to Christ, like everything just has to make sense. Like this guy wasn't interested in schooling, he wasn't interested in education, he was very angry at his father, he was very bitter, he carried this very heavy burden and this very heavy baggage. He had a terrible relationship with his mom, he had a terrible relationship with people, he didn't have a good relationship with people, he wasn't a good man in the society. But when his life took a turn, he started investing in school. He was interested in going to school. Like he started learning about business and even wanted to further his education in business. He forgave his father. He had a better relationship with his mom and with people at large. He got a job. He got an education. He became a man, and ultimately he gained Christ. So I really liked all the stories that were embedded. Even when we were trying to talk about, Isaiah's mom. Shout out to single moms out there. We saw how they were able to highlight the importance of the father figure in the family. That's why I'm like, shout out to the moms out there who are covering as mothers and fathers in their homes for their children. We saw that she said it, that she couldn't call out the man in her son like a father would have, and we saw that was sort of the vacuum that Joshua Moore that was what he occupied, that was what he covered up, that was what he filled when he came into Isaiah's life. Yeah, he was a mentor to Isaiah. At the same time, he was a father figure for Isaiah as well. Back to my list of things I liked about this film, I loved the cinematography. It was really, really good. It was pleasing to the eyes. That's just one thing I really, really enjoy about Drake Brothers movies. I loved the humor, like I said. It was, and the very uplifting dialogue in this film. And also, like I already said, it reminds you of the power of faith, hope, love, leadership. Like we saw that with the character Isaiah, his mom, Joshua Moore, even with his wife. We really saw all of those elements play out in those characters. Even the tear-jerking moments, that moment where Isaiah was in his room and he was praying and he was challenging God, saying he gives God all his grudges against his father. He forgives his father. Now God needs to sort it out. I really liked that scene. It was so tear-jerking. At the same time, the scene where they had to prepare the 3,000 boxes and where Joshua discovered through the surveillance cameras that his staffs were working overnight to make sure they hit the target, because it wasn't just only about the business, it was also about the lives they were touching with the revenue generated from this business as well. There's so many countries, there's so many homes, there's so many palms that have been blessed with the business. So it was such a tear-jerking moment. And also the part where Mrs. Wright, that's just Isaiah's mom, was praying and also called on the old woman to pray for them as well, and they were praying in their different homes. It just shows you prayer and work, faith and work. And when they were eventually able to meet the target, the contractor came in and they shook hands with Isaiah, and Isaiah, instead of asking for a 5-year contract renewal, he asked for 7 years and it was given to him. It was such an emotional moment. I didn't even know when I found myself tearing up and crying. The whole thing just came together in a very, very good way. And I liked the very powerful message that this movie carried. There was a message for everybody, be you a young adult, a businessman or a businesswoman, single moms, young adults, pastors, even members. It had a thing for every single person, and I really liked that. So if you're talking about things I didn't like about this film, maybe I would have loved to see him and his father have a moment. We saw when the father came into the warehouse, and they had an encounter. The first time we saw them together in the film, and how he dashed off angrily. Considering the fact that we saw that, I wish we had seen a moment where, we have seen a moment with him and his father. I think there was a time they exchanged letters, or he sent a letter to his father or something. I mean, I think that was good as well, but I would have loved us, since we experienced the bitter side of him facing his father. I would have loved us to see the new side of him facing his father as well. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Now to my final thoughts about this film. This film was a really good one. It's a must watch. It has so many lessons, so many quotes, so many Bible references. I really, really loved. I think one of my favorites, I think it has to be the dialogue that said, we can't treat prayer like it's some spare tire that you only pull out in an emergency. Prayer has to be more like the steering wheel that you hold tightly every day, no matter where you're going. And I also liked the quote or the dialogue or the parts that said, you need to be more of a fountain than a drain. You need to start giving more than you're taking. I really liked that. I really liked the quote. Yeah, so with these few points of mine, I think I've been able to convince you or explain to you why you need to see the movie The Forge if you're yet to. And yeah, to my ratings. Interesting. I'll be rating this film a 4.5 over 5. A solid 4.5 over 5. I mean, it doesn't deserve anything lower than that. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this movie if you've seen it in the comment section. And if you're yet to see it, you can watch it online. You can rent it online, you can borrow online, and you can buy online as well. It's available for you to watch online. I'll try and look for a link to watching the movie online in my description box, so check out for that, or in my comment section. I'll really, really love to hear from you. What do you think about the movie The Forge? Let me know. What were the lessons? What were your highlights? Let me know in the comment section. And look at me, I forgot to introduce myself. I am Ronke, by the way, just in case you're just hearing my voice and seeing my channel. Yeah, I review movies, talk about web series, TV shows, and just anything that interests me movie-wise on this channel. So yeah, I'd love for you to stick around me by subscribing to the channel if you're yet to be a subscriber. And if you're a returning subscriber, hola, welcome back to the channel. But yeah, until next time when I see you and when you see me, make sure to remain happy, because you owe it to yourself. Bye guys.